Ajin 2.
Ajin 2.
Can I just start this review by making a public service announcement?
Ajin 2 is an anime?
It's I just want to lead off with my soapbox.
Oh boy. All right.
We all hate CG, right?
No.
I'm being facetious. I don't hate it, but like
some people do.
I think 50% of anime fans won't even try Ajin because it's CG.
Well,
I mean, Knights of Sidonia didn't necessarily start the bar off very high.
I thought Knights of Sidonia looked pretty good.
I did post in the Facebook group page, facebook.com/groups/anime or AAAPodcast, and asked the listeners and the viewers what they thought about Ajin. And there were quite a few that were like, well, it's CG, so I don't like it.
Exactly.
So it's all right, that's fair.
And I will tell you right now that Ajin looks and moves better than any animated season of an anime I've seen in like 5 years.
That's fair. I mean, they have better control over it.
It looks frigging great.
But it's not the sort of CG that I think we are used to either. Like, it has a very unique animated CG style.
I think it's improved a lot since, because it's the same studio that worked on both seasons of Knights of Sidonia as well as the first season of Ajin, right? It's the same studio. So they've had a lot of time to kind of like perfect their methods. I know the first season of Knights of Sidonia, I was like, it doesn't look that great. It looked a little odd. And so you could definitely tell they've improved over time.
This anime looks great. The facial expressions are freaking insane.
Impressive, for sure.
I mean, holy shit. This anime looks amazing. Yeah. So that's my soapbox.
Okay.
People should get over the CG thing.
Right.
This it looks like a high budget anime movie. That's how it moves. In fact, I would say even then this might move better.
Okay. So Ajin, very well done CG animation. Now this is the second season.
Second season.
The first season, I don't remember what we gave. I think
like a 4, probably.
Like a 4, probably. I think.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 5, but I was really drunk.
Oh.
We reviewed Ajin.
Do you remember that review?
I don't. I remember half of it. I think. I remember reviewing it, but I don't remember what I said or what I gave it.
Was that the Garzy's Wing drinking episode?
That was the Garzy's Wing drinking episode.
Dude, whoever wanted us to review Garzy's Wing nearly killed Kimiko.
I almost died.
Good job.
The best.
I didn't get nearly as drunk on that one as I did for the Super Lovers season 2 drunk episode. Though
we got to do another one of those.
I can't keep knocking back the Moscow Mules, though. I'm going to have to take it a little bit easier.
You just downgrade to like beer. You'll be quitter.
Well, I won't get drunk. Not on beer.
Which
episode? Strong beer. How about that 15% wine you guys were drinking?
That's fair.
Which episode was it that you were just drinking straight vodka and then you took my vodka?
I'm pretty sure that was the Garzy's Wing episode. Okay. That's why I don't remember the Ajin review.
Okay.
All right. So Ajin, for those that don't know, is a show about...
I don't know if we can.
It takes place in Japan, probably in present day.
It's near future, or like it's not too distant future, because they have a lot more like higher technologies in their classroom, I think. So let's say maybe like 30 years in the future or something like that.
The time period doesn't really make much of a difference. The premise of the show is that there is a type of human that is being born
called an Ajin,
which are they cannot be killed. Basically, you kill them, they revive.
Yes.
In addition to that, they also have the ability to create an invisible creature that is they call them ghosts. It's an invisible creature that
or BMs, right?
IBMs,
yeah. Oh yeah, IBMs. I guess the name of his IBM is Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls it Ghost.
Yeah, and so
not to be confused with Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
what?
Fair.
The one of the direwolves, his name's Ghost. Jon Snow's direwolf.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about these people that can't be killed. One of them is this evil dude named
Sato.
I'm so bad with names.
He's a friggin' badass.
He kind of is, though. Like, I want to hate him, but he's so badass.
We'll get into that when we talk about what we don't like about the show.
Oh boy.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Sato's friggin' great.
Well,
and once again, it's going to be Kimiko and Mitsugi,
there
and
are problems.
there's Kazuo.
There are problems with the show.
And
I will talk about them when we get to that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Definitely not.
So, more about the plot.
So Sato is a guy who is an Ajin, but his goal... The problem is that the government has been experimenting on Ajin, and kind of like, since they can't die, they've been testing like weapons on them, like chemical weapons and all this stuff, and torturing them and seeing what they're capable of. And Sato...
Very cruel experiments.
And so Sato is kind of going on this revenge tour where he wants the government to admit what they've done and to provide safe haven for Ajin, or so it seems.
Right.
That's his goal.
Well, I mean, if you think about the types of experiments that are being done, they're beyond anything we've seen in real life. I mean,
well, because the Ajin can't die; they resurrect themselves.
Yeah.
So they're basically finding different ways to kill them.
Yeah,
it's like imagine being in a lab where you die 100 times a day.
Yeah, well,
like,
that's
how horrible that sounds.
Yeah.
How unspeakably atrocious that is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Right. So his whole thing is he's going to be killing all of these higher ups in the government and in this industry that the government is working with, doing these tests on the Ajin, and he gets a group of Ajin to join him in his coup. And this young boy named
what the hell is his name?
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Naga.
Naga.
Oh my god, I should know his name.
Nagai?
K Nagai.
K Nagai, yeah. Sorry. I point to you whenever it's a name because I can't remember names. So K Nagai, he's a school-age boy, probably in
he's
high
like
school.
16 or something.
Yeah. And he is also an Ajin, and he kind of like is working with a certain part of the government to take down Sato.
According to this website, he's 17.
Okay. And so basically, season 1, they get to a certain point. Season 2, they continue with their endeavors to stop this dude, and he kind of goes on a rampage and kills like 15 people that he had on a list.
Sato has a list, and he announces it to the whole country of Japan. I'm going to kill all these people in this order. You can't stop me.
And they're all authority figures and or people who work in like higher positions and stuff, right?
And one of them's the prime minister of Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, can't get much higher than that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of this anime is them trying to stop him. I mean, that's
pretty much.
Well, a lot of this season, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue, obviously.
Oh, it's definitely going to continue.
But despite that, I think this season has a very definitive end, which is really cool to see. Like, it feels like you could watch the second season, and if they didn't make a third, I wouldn't be super disappointed. I think so.
I think it has like
I was satisfied by the ending.
I think it has like a Power Rangers end. Where it's like, you beat the bad guy, but you didn't really beat the bad guy. He'll be back next time on Power Rangers.
Okay, but I mean, like, it's still enough happened, and there was enough of a beginning and middle and end to the season that it feels satisfying to be left there if for some reason they didn't make a third. I feel.
Kind of. I don't know if I agree with that because it's like it hasn't ended at all. Like,
it didn't end. I mean, it sort of ended, and then they kind of unended it.
Yeah. Had it concluded before that last scene, I would have been like, oh, sweet, it's over.
I don't think we really need to talk about that last scene, though, because I don't want to spoil.
That's fair. That's fair.
True.
But, so, he's an extremist, Sato, and he's controlling these other Ajin by telling them that he's out to make a better world for them, where they can have sovereignty and where they have equal rights. And really, Sato is just a crazy guy who wants to fight and play games.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like... I guess it's hard to not spoil because it's like the premise is what we already discussed. The rest is kind of like the details of the show itself. Like even what you just said about how it seems like he's really got these righteous ideologies. Like he's like, oh, I'm doing this for the Ajin, but in reality, he's basically just a kid with a game. Like he's trying to beat a game and get a high score and that kind of stuff.
I just love how tight this anime's story is. It's like people might go, "Oh, really unoriginal is terrorism," and you're gonna kill. You're basically the story is I'm gonna kill these people, and then the good guys are like, "No, you're not. We're gonna try to stop you," and that's the story, right?
Yeah, pretty
much.
It was very Die Hard in the second season.
Yeah, the second season, and like that may not seem super complex or original, but in anime it is, and it's not convoluted, and it's not.
The pacing is fantastically done.
It's not loaded with tropes, and the pacing, as Kimiko just said, is awesome. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I didn't have to suffer through my little sister's panties, or I didn't have to suffer through, like, another anime about witches.
The characters are fantastic in and of themselves, too. They're all very distinct, very individualized characters.
It's fresh. I like...
Oh, wow.
What is your beef?
I had a couple of issues.
I think the worst character...
With three of the characters.
One of the worst characters in the show is K Nagai, the main guy.
Okay,
yeah,
so that is one thing that
I had issues, and this is really the only negative that I have about the show.
Are you ready for this, Kimiko?
These are the negatives of the show.
Here he comes.
Three characters.
The three negatives are three characters?
Yes.
Okay.
K Nagai.
What's wrong with him?
He's
dry.
17 years old.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, he's completely lost, and they're like, well, we're going to train you how to use your weapons and your abilities and all that stuff. And then, like, a couple episodes later, he is running a government organization on his own as a 17-year-old kid.
Don't they go through, like, a time, like, don't they jump a little bit?
Even if
not enough time.
Even if it was a year, he's 17 years old, and he is telling these other government like secret agents what to do, and he's like, "Here's the plan." And I'm like,
well, that
You're
was
a kid. How do you have the plan?
That was only because the leader of the group got taken.
Doesn't matter.
Someone has to step up.
40-year-old dudes who have been working in military action their entire lives.
It's not that big of a stretch. He's the most powerful Ajin.
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Well, I feel like
strategist.
They leaned on him for that decision because
he was setting up the strategies.
They needed him.
They had him on the whiteboard doing, okay, we're going to go in here.
I don't agree with him.
This is exactly what happened.
I don't agree with
you can't disagree with it.
I definitely can disagree with you.
They couldn't have done the plan without him, and so they were waiting for his decision because if he went, I'm out, they couldn't do it.
That's not what I'm saying.
What
I'm saying is he drew up the plan. There's several scenes with him on a whiteboard.
Because he was heavily incorporated into it.
I think Kazuo's forgetting the first season.
What do you mean?
He's like a genius in school, and the whole first season, he strategizes the whole first season.
I mean, he was on his own the whole first season, so he strategizes what he does. But when you're working with a government organization whose job is to run covert ops, you're telling them what to do?
He's the most powerful character in the show. All the rest of the quote-unquote leaders...
Doesn't matter how powerful he is.
Yes, it does.
He's not freaking Dexter.
It absolutely does. All the rest of the characters that you would put into authority positions are weak-ass little humans that he could expunge with a blink.
It doesn't matter how strong he is if he can't be coming up with the plan. If he's
a genius.
Okay,
the whole point of the first season
he sure doesn't seem like a genius.
Well,
one thing real quick.
Yeah.
I can agree with both of you on both of the things, and here's why. I think that he is definitely intelligent enough to have come up with the strategy, but I don't think that they would have let him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Who's going to stop him? He'll kill all of them if he wants to.
Okay, so he's just going to go rogue and kill the entire...
I just don't think...
He does plenty of killing.
I don't think the characters should have been so willing to simply follow him just because the guy was in charge, but he proved that he could make the plan, and the plan was sound, so they followed him anyway.
Someone's got to step up amongst all these little pussy-ass dudes that'll just sit there and cry.
I just think it's a little weird.
And he did, and he proved himself, and they followed him.
I just think it's a little weird when, in one episode, he's incapable, and they're teaching him how to shoot a gun and do pull-ups, and then the next episode he's calling all the shots and saying, this is what we need to do. You're gonna go in here, and then we're gonna go here and shut off this power here.
I think that was also a defining moment for him in the sense that he was just letting them be like, here's how you use your powers, here's how you do a push-up, but he was reluctant to be a part of it at all. And then you hit that point where he says, all right, I'm gonna be in this, I'm going to offer up my abilities, I'm going to help you with this strategy. It was the turning point for Nagai.
So in addition to that, another one of my problems with him is he had the Shinji Ikari syndrome, where he was like, I don't wanna. Why do I have to do this? I just want to be left alone.
I was actually annoyed by the fact that he was dragging everybody down with him in it too.
But wasn't that only for like one episode?
That was for most of the season.
It was pretty much like almost all of the second half of the first season, and for like the first couple of episodes of the second. Like maybe 4 or 5. Okay. It was a little annoying, especially the way he interacts with the blonde kid.
And what's the third? So your first two complaints are both Kane guy. All right.
Well, he's one. Another complaint is his buddy,
the blonde kid. He annoyed the shit out of me.
Kaito?
Way too dumb. Like, Kei is way too intelligent.
Not Kaito, the other
Kaito
guy.
is way too dumb.
No, it's not Kaito.
Or the blonde.
Or whatever his name is. The guy that was the other Ajin.
The other Ajin, yeah.
There's two blonde characters.
He was the only character that genuinely annoyed me.
Ko. His name's Ko.
Like they went on one far end of the spectrum for Kei and the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Like, he was a 4-year-old level intelligence, and he
was too naive.
Yeah.
Like, at one point the naive character has to stop being so naive in order for character growth and for the plot to progress.
Right.
In that character's involvement, and he just stayed like almost too oblivious to what's going on for somebody who has died at least 6 times in season 1.
Or like, and there are situations where it's like, okay, you've been going through this situation for a long time. You kind of understand what's going on, and yet he still doesn't deal with it and still acts like a child. And it's like, you need to man up. Like, you've been going through this for a long time now. Yeah. Figure it out, dude.
You just made a criticism about a character who manned up, and then another character you bitched because he didn't.
No.
Why don't you man up and admit that you are contradicting yourself?
No, I'm not.
There's
a vast chasm of difference between their
characters.
Himself? No, I didn't.
You bitched because one character manned up and another character didn't.
There's a difference between not acting like a baby and being like the most intelligent human in the world. Like, there's a vast chasm there. Like, he was acting like a child, and it was like, at least give me a little bit of maturity. And the other guy was like, apparently the most intelligent human on earth.
If he had like magically become like like a guy with a spine or whatever and manned up, and
I didn't need that.
Would you bitch because he suddenly became
because that's how characters develop and grow. is that you realize what situation you're in, and you kind of grow as a character instead of stay exactly the same the entire show.
Well, what do you think that Kay did? He grew. He took charge. He took
the argument there isn't
his
that he
personality
grew and
matched
took charge.
his power, leadership position.
The argument isn't that he grew and took charge. The argument is that why on earth would a 17-year-old be in charge of military special ops people?
Rather, why would they follow him so willingly?
Because their entire operation is based around the fact that he can regenerate his IBM multiple times. Yes, it does. They can't even fight Sato without him.
Who is the most muscular person on a football team? Answer my question. Who's the most muscular person on a football team? Like a defensive lineman or something?
Idea.
Right? Aren't they like the strongest?
I don't know. A tight end maybe? I don't know.
Are they also the captains? Are they the coaches?
Not necessarily.
So just because you're the most powerful doesn't mean you should be in charge. So just because he can kill everybody doesn't mean that he should be calling the shots.
So your third character.
There was only one good Ajin that could even summon his power. Because the blonde kid that you hate couldn't summon his power.
Doesn't matter. I just made this
point. Without Kay, their entire organization doesn't even exist.
That's true.
You just completely didn't listen to what I said. Just because he's physically stronger, doesn't mean that he should be calling the shots.
He was a necessity.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a child.
Actually, I don't agree with you there.
Okay. So then the tight end or the defensive lineman should be the coach, is what you're saying?
No, not necessarily.
Because he's the strongest.
Not necessarily.
So he should be the coach. He should call the shots.
It's not football.
That's
You're talking about killing people here. This is different.
It's strategy. It's developing a plan.
Let's move on. Your third character.
Kana was a genius, so he strategized. So
he wasn't. He was a genius.
Losing your
he was
point
a strategist.
You're not. You are. But
he's the strongest and the smartest.
The people in the chat are on my side.
He's the strongest and the smartest.
That's true, but he's still 17 years old. So the fact that they followed him so willingly,
and he's not the smartest. Okay, he may be an intelligent 17-year-old.
He was the smartest after you removed the real leader who got taken.
Well, then I guess people that are like special ops agents are really freaking dumb.
They probably are.
Kid is smarter
Have you ever met government people that work for the government? I used to do audits for the IRS. They're pretty dumb.
All right. Well,
third character?
What's your third complaint?
The third character I had problems with was Sato.
Who I think is awesome.
Why?
Because he was way too powerful. He had
Mitosuji. He's pulling a Mitosuji on us.
Sato's
fucking awesome.
I mean, like,
I'm sorry, I don't.
Literally, I can beat Sato.
This whole show was Sato.
Give me a gun and a sword. I will shoot him and then cut his head off as he regenerates. That's all you got to do.
What?
And they would not do it the entire show.
Is he for real?
So I will. Okay. I thought that Sato.
Okay, that's a spoiler. Well, not really.
Done. Well, I mean,
the point is that he was way too impossible to beat, and it's one dude, and he goes into a room and like hand-to-hand combat takes out like 5 trained military personnel.
Okay,
he's an old man.
That I will agree with is
like,
the fact that
what?
Sato. They don't give us enough information on why Sato can.
They said he's ex-military.
Well, yeah, but that's still not quite enough for as much as he should be able to do. However, they needed a. And this probably goes back to what your issue with Kay is. They needed a bad guy who intellectually could stand up against Kay. And so it ended up being a level of intelligence that, because they don't describe it very well, just ends up coming off as he's just too powerful.
I think my big
Sato's
problem,
the best character on the show.
I think my problem is
that I can't agree with.
Who's better than Sato?
Kay's best friend.
True. And
Kaito?
they severely underused him.
It was like they built him up in season 1 to be this character that was going to have the human influence to the Ajin spectrum.
Then they just, like,
and then they didn't use him.
Well, he got arrested.
Yeah, he was in jail.
Well, true, but I mean, like, they had an opportunity to use him, and they didn't.
For one episode.
I mean, if anything, that should be the complaint, that he just shows up out of nowhere.
I think the overall problem is the balance, the character balance in the shows. Like, the characters don't make sense a lot of times. Like, they're too far to one end or another end of the spectrum, and they're not. I know it's stupid to say realistic, but they're not realistic enough. It's like real people won't behave.
It's a show
like
about
that.
immortal people.
I know,
not really
but
realistic.
you still want to.
But the character personalities, I think, is what he's.
I want to know why you have such a problem with Sato being unstoppable. Because
they don't do it. If he was going to be unstoppable,
it's my turn to talk.
You just asked me a question.
Yeah, I know I didn't. It was a hypothetical question.
Okay.
You got 5 special forces agents against a guy who has an invisible super being.
He doesn't use it.
He can't die.
He goes hand to hand.
He doesn't need to. He can't die. He can't die.
It doesn't matter if he can't die. He goes hand to hand.
You can't kill him. You stab him, he wakes up and he stabs you.
You have a really hard time listening.
He's immortal.
It doesn't matter.
He's immortal.
That doesn't play a part in that scene.
It does.
He walks into a room, hand-to-hand combat against 5 trained military personnel.
Why can't he be a badass?
And whoops all their asses.
So why
he's
can't he
an
be a
old
badass?
man.
Okay,
and
so
he's going
what?
up against 5 trained military
we
personnel.
do also not know how old he is for one. Like he might just kind of come off as like he might be in like his 50s, his late 50s or something. But the fact that he has this ability to fight just wasn't hit upon. Like I think that.
But even if it was, one man going into a room in hand-to-hand combat, 5 other men, even if they're not trained, if you took a professional fighter and he walked into a room with 5 just high school wrestlers, he would get his ass whooped.
You could argue that,
I'm not
that
arguing.
a part of his
It's
ability.
not based in reality.
Well, you could argue that a part of his ability in hand-to-hand combat comes from the fact that he just does not have any fear of dying in it. Like that added boost of like he knows.
Well, I think another thing is that at no point in the show was he ever on the ropes. Like he is just so beyond unbeatable. It's like at no point is he ever like, oh, I don't know, this might not work out for him. No, he just runs through everybody. He's an imposter. He's Mito Tsuji from Yomushi Pedal.
We're spending. You see, I told you.
He is. He is though. It's like he's just completely unbeatable, and there's no tension.
I don't agree. I think Sato is one of the best characters in the show.
Well, there's no tension. It's like he's never gonna lose. You know he can't lose. He just runs through everybody.
Except he doesn't lose until he does.
I will admit he was. But
or does he?
You know he doesn't.
Spoilers. So I will admit Sato was badass, but I can see your point that it was a little bit too much of an all-powerful, almost omnipotent aspect of him.
It is nitpicking. Those are like little nitpicking.
It's not
things.
nitpicking. That was
nitpicking.
I will say one of the main reasons that I liked season 1 though is it made Nagai a better character for me, because by the end of season 1 I feel like they had drastically altered his character. The first 6 or 7 episodes of season 1 flip 180 by the last half of the season. The moment that we figure out that like Nagai actually has like almost a complete and total indifference for human life. Yeah. Like he's almost sociopathic in season 1. They hit on that in season 2 and remedy that fact for me.
Kind of at the end, yeah.
Yeah, well, not like halfway through even, like, or 3/4 of the way through. Yeah. You start to see a little bit more, like they remedy the fact that Nagai's character, he almost forced himself into this mindset when he realized he was an Ajin. It wasn't necessarily something that he was like the entire time or like his entire life. Like he actually has the ability to be human despite being an Ajin. And I feel like the season 2 was necessary for that. But I don't know. I mean,
I loved how violent the show was.
Oh, definitely.
I'm never going to get tired of watching people be impaled like through their back and held up straight into the air by the Ajin while like blood explodes out of them.
Yeah, there was some awesome
pretty
fight
violent
scenes for sure.
I mean, I feel like this anime toes the line of gore porn.
It's pretty violent, yeah.
It's pretty violent.
It doesn't play games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of killing.
I mean, I'm not saying it is, but it toes the line for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when a character, and this is a season 1 thing, but when a character has to make a decision to kill himself in order to fix a broken leg, like, you know that you've hit a new level of dark.
Yeah, that's a good
point.
That's fair.
We gotta score it.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like we didn't really talk too much about the anime itself, just the characters,
did.
but I feel like the character...
It's a pretty simple show, I mean.
Simple plot, simple, like, but the way that they handled it was pretty good. It's a character-driven second season.
We didn't talk about the human rights aspect of the show, but whatever.
I thought that this season deserved about a 4 little tiny tin of breath mints to avoid smoking out of 5.
Okay.
What?
Kazuo.
Is the main character the like glasses guy?
Kazuo's gonna give it a 1.
No, that's not true.
Let me get my calculator out here.
I am gonna give it 4 flying Ajin out of 5.
You argues for an hour and he gives it a 4.
No, I was just expressing my point, and you fought back against it, so I had to make it even harder.
It did get a little over the top with
I was just making a point. Those are the only faults I had with it, was that the characters were a little unbelievable.
I didn't like the end of it. Would have rather had the ending sort of not continue.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But so otherwise, I thought the show was like freaking amazing. I'm gonna give it 4.5. Ajin that you should have decapitated sooner out of 5. Because the show was freaking great. Like, I wasn't bored for one moment in this show.
Yeah.
That I will agree
moment.
with. I mean, I binged the entire thing on Netflix when it came out.
Me too.
I don't do that for everything. Like,
and holy shit, this anime, I don't care what you say about CG. It looks friggin' great.
It does. It looks great.
it really, it was pretty.
I mean, screw Fate Zero. This looks better. I'm sorry, it just does. It moves better. It does. It moves better. It might not look the way that you want it to look, but the animation is better. It just is. Go watch it. Everything flows like water in this show.
Well,
there's no like oh it skips because of everything moves really fast.
Well, it's because it's CG. It's not
like
so it's
CG.
Animated.
So it's CG. I'm just saying we need to quit bitching about the CG and just embrace the fact that it moves fluidly.
Yeah.
It moves awesome.
Yeah, I thought it looked great.
I think you need that for a show like this. So
Fate Zero probably like it may have better cinematography, it may be a better style, it might have a color palette you like better, but it doesn't move.
That
better.
is one thing I'm noticing about the CG anime is that it does tend to be like lots of grays and like blacks and browns and whites, like very.
It could just
muted.
be the studio.
And
Yeah,
that's
sure.
also the atmosphere of the show itself.
It's also the atmosphere of real life. I mean, it is.
That's fair.
Plus these anime they're all like dark and violent. Like if it was all, if it was all like bubblegum neon blue and shit, it wouldn't fit.
Sure.
Anyway,
Right.
so that rounds to a 4.
Yeah. All right, so Ajin season 2 also gets a 4 out of 5. It's a good
Which
show.
is weird. I mean, I thought
solid,
I
consistent.
thought season 2 was better than the first season.
I think they both had different things that like I could see them both getting a 4 because it's like I liked certain aspects of the first season and certain aspects of the second, so not bad.
Needless to say, I'll be watching the third season.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With intensity.
With intensity.
Yeah.